No matter how much you hold on to the concept of truth dear to your heart, the fact is that truth ends up becoming a pawn of the people in power. More than any truthful statement or story, its interpretation starts to gain prominence in people's minds. Truth has become an abstract concept in today's time. During and after the foreigners' rule of India, unfavorable treatment to a particular religion was termed as a defining characteristic of secularism, and a few decades later, people have forgotten what the term really means. As a direct result of it, Indic festivals like Onam ended up becoming one of the biggest casualties of the phenomenon. No, in spite of no explicit guidelines on who can celebrate it, Onam has a distinct origin in Sanatani Dharma. Namaste. Welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI media group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and I'm here to factually demolish the Marxist propaganda around Onam. This year's festival of Onam has ended, but the rumors around its origin have not. Even this year, the festival was pushed as a secular festival, which means that every religious identity group has a claim on it. Yes, anyone can celebrate it, but not everyone can claim it as their own. Let me decode the reason why it is celebrated in the first place by understanding its origin. Every living entity present on planet Earth has its ancestral origin in Rishi Kashyap. In Purans like Padma, Kurma, Bhavishya and Vishnu Puran, and in Mahabharata, it is mentioned that Rishi Kashyap had 13 wives. One of the ladies he got married to was Diti. Diti was the daughter of illustrious Daksha Prajapati, and Daksha was Bhagwan Brahma's Manas Putra. Children of Diti and Rishi Kashyap came to be known as Daityas. In Satyug, Diti is said to have enticed Rishi Kashyap for a union at the time of dusk. She was quite eager for a child, and for this purpose had no qualms in disturbing the Rishi's dhyan. Despite the lapse in dhyana mudra, Rishi asked her to wait for a few minutes. The reasoning behind it is that during dusk hours, Bhagavan Shankar keeps his three eyes wide open as his crown of matted hair is covered with the dust of Shamshan. But Diti was not convinced, and Rishi Kashyap gave in. As a result of the union at inauspicious hours, twins Hiranyakashyap and Hiranyaksh were born. Both were destined to create havoc in three loks, namely Devlok, Bhulok and Patal Lok. While Hiranyaksh was killed by the Varaha avatar of Bhagwan Vishnu, it took a lot of innovative thinking to get rid of Hiranyakashyap. Bhagwan Vishnu took the Narasimha avatar to rip Hiranyakashyap asunder with his bare hands. But all was not bad with Diti's descendants. It was destined that her grandson Prahlad would be a devotee of Bhagwan Vishnu. Bhagwan Vishnu killed Hiranyakashyap only to protect Prahlad. Prahlad inculcated the virtues of bhakti in his progenies as he attained Vishnu Lok. The most prominent of Prahlad's progeny was Mahabali, a grandson of Prahlad. Mahabali is tough to comprehend if you look at him from the lens of good and evil. Mahabali, like any good king should, went on to extend the confines of his kingdom. In no time, Mahabali was the Swami of all three loks, and the Devas were expelled from their seats in Swargalok. The fight between Devas and Daityas is a family brawl. They are technically cousins, as Adityas, the foremost among Devas, are the descendants of Rishi Kashyap from his other wife Aditi, the eldest daughter of Daksha Prajapati. They are 12 in number, and their names are Vivaswan, Aryaman, Twashta, Savitra, Bhag, Dhat, Mitra, Varuna, Amsh, Pushan, Indra and Vishnu. Bhagwan Indra and Bhagwan Vishnu went on to carve out more prominent space for themselves. While Vishnuji sits in Vaikuntha Dham, Indra went on to become king of Devas and Swargalok. Indra is a Dev, a concept and a position of power all at the same time. Indra changes in every Manvantar. A Manvantar lasts 30 crore 67 lakh 20,000 years. Each Manvantar is led by a Manu. Savarni is the current Manu. Every Manvantar has a different Indra, and Mahabali himself presides as the current Indra. Coming back to the main story, save Vishnu, Indra was the most virtuous among the Devas, hence he attained the title of Devraj. He presided over the royal assembly of Devas consisting of other Adityas, Sadhyas, Maruts, Vishwadevas, Rudras, and Ashwini Kumars. Like a modern cabinet, Devas took charge of individual portfolios. Varun, Agni, Pavan, etc. took charge of waters, fires, and winds respectively. Even when Mahabali was busy conquering different lokas, Indra feared his dethronement. Mahabali was extremely powerful, a no-nonsense man diplomatically, and used to run his army like a seasoned army general. After Bali deposed the Devas of their thrones, Devas became homeless, and without them, earth became unpredictable. Out of options, Devas went to Bhagwan Vishnu. Bhagwan Vishnu knew that Mahabali was not a Hiranyaksh or Hiranyakashyap, so punishing him was not an option. Mahabali used to donate Chaturthansh or 25% of his revenues to the poor and needy. He was a great bhakt of all three Tridevas, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Bhagwan Vishnu was aware of his limitations in getting Swargalok back for the Devas. Victory without dignity is not a victory at all. However, there was an opportunity. Mahabali was about to perform his 100th Yagya. Indra is also known as Shatakratu, the performer of 100 Yagya. After performing the 100th Yagya, Bali would have ascended the throne of Indra. Daityaraj Mahabali respected cows and Brahmins following the ancient Sanatani principle of Go Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. And this knowledge was not lost on Bhagwan Vishnuji. Vishnuji came to the earth as a Brahmin in his Vaman avatar. Vaman avatar was affable, unharming, and most benign. Bhagwan Vaman was a dwarf Brahmin. Bhagwan Vaman went to the Yagya Sthali and requested Mahabali to give him land he could cover with 3 steps. Mahabali thought of it as a petty request, given his reputation of being Danveer. Also, he had conquered both heaven and earth, so it must have felt quite insulting to him as well. Apparently, he offered a bigger piece of land to him, which of course was rejected by Bhagwan Vaman. Mahabali then told him to take whatever he wants. It was then the time for Bhagwan Vaman to take a massive form. With his first step, he measured the Swargalok. With the second step, whole earth came under his control. Now only Patal Lok remained. He asked Mahabali for the third step, and Mahabali, being a worshipper of Bhagwan Vishnu and Brahmins, obliged by offering his head to Vaman avatar. Mahabali had now accepted Patal Lok as his permanent residence. As Bhagwan Vaman put his foot on his head, both descended to Patal Lok. Charmed by Bali's altruism, Bhagwan Vishnu offered him to ask for a Vardhan. Mahabali was just not willing to let go of his Bhagwan and asked Bhagwan Vishnu to stay in Patal Lok with him. Vishnuji's new abode was now Patal Lok, and that meant Vaikuntha Lok was bereft of him. Devi Lakshmi felt miserable without her husband, and Devas felt orphaned because of the absence of Narayan, the foremost among Devas. Devi Lakshmi decided to take matters in her own hands as she went to Patal Lok to look for Bhagwan Vishnu. There she saw Bhagwan Vishnu and asked him to come with her. Bhagwan Vishnu narrated the whole story and how he was duty-bound to stay with Bali. Devi Lakshmi thought of an ingenious idea and tied a Raksha Sutra on Mahabali's wrists. Through this Raksha Sutra, both Devi Lakshmi and Mahabali became brother and sister. Mahabali offered to give Ma Lakshmi a gift. Devi Lakshmi asked Mahabali to allow Bhagwan Vishnu to return to Vaikuntha Dham. This incident forms the basis of the festival Raksha Bandhan and the Raksha Sutra mantra that Pandits chant while tying it on your wrists. Yena baddho baliraja danavendro mahabala tena tvamanubadhnami rakshe machala machala. Onam is celebrated to celebrate the arrival of Vaman avatar on earth. The word Onam itself has its origin in Sanskrit word Shrona. Shron or Shravan is the birth nakshatra of Bhagwan Vishnu. Srimad Bhagavad Puran traces Bhagwan Vishnu's birth date as Shravan Dwadashi. Shravan Dwadashi is the exact date of Onam. Only the ignorant or the benefactor of anti-Hindu propaganda can term it as coincidence, and there are many. Over the years, first evangelicals and then Marxists started to propagate Onam as a Dravidian ritual. They termed Mahabali a Dravidian, while Vaman avatar was presented as Aryan king who subjugated a Dravidian. Needless to say, they did not cite any evidence to prove their points. Intellectuals of the day have taken a different route. Walking on the post-modernist track, they simply push Onam as a secular festival. Bharatvasis never had, nor do they have any qualms about anyone following any religion. To assume that what transpired in Europe and the Middle East would happen in India was never a pragmatic move. Ultimately, it ended up benefiting them in spreading their own religions in India. The population of Hindus is increasing at a slower pace than those of other religions in southern states, all thanks to Marxist propaganda. Onam is just another example of cultural appropriation. There is no Dravidian angle here. There is no Aryan angle here. Onam and the stories around it are simply the story of Danavir Mahabali, Bhakta Vatsal Mahavishnu, and Pati Parayan Mahalakshmi. Everything else is a big fat lie.